All right, good morning. July 5th, 2022 School Land Board meeting will come to order. Section 31.015 of the Texas Natural Resources Code. I'm chairing this meeting in the commissioner's absence as chief clerk of the General Land Office. Should the commissioner return prior to the conclusion of this meeting, I will relinquish the chair. The July 5th, 2022 meeting of the School Land Board is being held in person at 1700 North Congress Avenue, Stephen F. Austin Building, and by video conference call as authorized under Texas Government Code Section 551.125. Access to the meeting by members of the public was published in advance in the Texas Register in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. Any member of the public who wishes to address the School Land Board should indicate so at the start of the meeting or during any public comment period. And before we get started, I do want to note that item number 2A10 was pulled from the docket prior to the meeting. And with that, we will move to the first item on the agenda, which is item number 1, approval of the minutes from the June 7, 2022 meeting.
Mr. Michael, I move to approve the minutes.
I think you're on mute, Mr. Rorman.
I second.
Oh, there we go. Got Gil. We've got the motion made, seconded, and carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is item number 2, approval of the consent agenda. And again, item 2A10 was pulled. There are no questions from the board. We can take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion is made, seconded, and carries unanimously to approve item number 2. Items number 3 and 4 will be in executive session. The School Land Board will enter executive session pursuant to Chapter 551, Subchapter D, Texas Government Code, Section 551.071 for consultation with its attorneys regarding matters involving attorney-client privilege information and legal issues associated with items number 3 and 4. Following the closed session, the board will reconvene in open session to complete the docket. All right, the open session of the July 5, 2022 meeting of the School Land Board will resume with items number 3 and 4. Item number 3.
Good morning, board. I'm Ken Mills, the director of the oil and gas section in the Office of General Counsel. Item 3 is a request by Forge Energy 2 to enter into a lease with a wholly owned subsidiary pursuant to Natural Resources Code Section 52.189. Staff has received the required affidavit and staff recommends approval of this lease as discussed in executive. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Ken, any questions from the board?
I move to approve.
Second.
Motion is made, seconded, and carries unanimously to approve item number 3.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is number 4.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, for the record, Rusty Martin, Chief Investment Officer. Approval of this agenda item would constitute your approval of an investment by the GLO on behalf of the Permanent School Fund in Macquarie Infrastructure Partners 6 LP. The IEC is recommending that you invest $350 million on behalf of the Permanent School Fund in MIP6. MIP6 is a $7 to $8 billion commingled investment fund sponsored by Macquarie Infrastructure Partners that will invest in infrastructure and infrastructure related assets, primarily in the US and Canada. MIP is an entity within Macquarie Asset Management, a global leader in infrastructure investment and asset management with approximately $547 billion of assets under management. GLO has a longstanding relationship with MIP that began in 2008, and it's resulted in total original capital commitments of $750 million across 4 funds. The MIP6 proposal was presented to and discussed with GLO investment management staff and the Townsend Group in meetings and conversations between March and June of this year. And then IM staff subsequently performed due diligence on the MIP6 during April to June. In addition, MIP principals and team members made a detailed presentation to the IAC in Townsend on June 7th. Following that presentation, the IAC voted unanimously to recommend the proposed investment to the school land board. All 5 members of the IAC were in that meeting, present, and voted on the item. In conjunction with this ongoing discussion, review, and analysis, investment management staff worked with Townsend and legal counsel to ensure that the investment fits within the framework of the TexGlow PSF investment policy statement. It is in the best interest of the permanent school fund. Therefore, the IAC is recommending the school land board approve the investment of $350 million in Macquarie Infrastructure Partner 6 LP. I'd also note the approval of the transaction is, as always, contingent upon investment management's completion of the negotiation and finalization of the legal documentation associated with the proposed investment. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Rusty. Any questions from the board?
This is Michael. I move to approve.
Second.
I'm sorry, is there a second?
I second Gill.
Thank you. Sorry, I couldn't hear it. Motion is made, seconded, and carries unanimously to approve item number 4.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. There being no further business before the school land board, this meeting is hereby adjourned.